Boston's #1 motivational speaker in the building, Julian Miller.
What's going on? What's going on?
Oh, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing to be here. It's a blessing to be here.
Okay, so I want to give everyone a snippet of who you are. Julian Juice Miller lived on the edge of the streets. At a young age, he witnessed his cousin's murder on a Roxbury Street corner. After witnessing his death, he delved deep in the streets and never looked back. During the course of running the streets, he was arrested countless times and spent several stints in prison. In the early 2000s, he was sent to federal prison where he decided to change his life. After his release from federal prison, he took his second chance seriously and became a motivational speaker. He was able to share his story with individuals and organizations to bring awareness and understanding. Through his hard work and dedication, he earned the title of being Boston's #1 motivational speaker. Julian's high energy presentations challenge audiences to redirect their focus to create a transformative effect by helping the audience connect to what truly matters. They can set appropriate goals that align with their individual and team's desired objectives. I didn't write that, did you? Oh, that was Mike Curry. I was like, hold on.
Man.
Hey, she's gonna bring you out, man.
Right. I'm ready to take that. I'm like, I need a copy of that. I'm like, man, you was walking with me my whole life.
Shout out to Mike, he's an amazing writer.
Wow.
So you know, I know Juice personally. You know, we grew up together. Me and Juice always ran into each other. It could have been from school, down Dudley, drinking together, smoking weed together. Doing things together. And I can honestly say this is a good friend of mine. So, you know, for me to see him come home and do right, you know, that's like, yeah, I knew he could do it. I knew I could do it. So, for those that don't know you, would you care to explain who you are, who Julian Miller is?
First, my name is Julian Miller. They call me Juice. I'm from Roxbury, and born and raised in Roxbury. My family's from Costa Rica, and my family came up to the United States for a better life, and I was the only one that was born in the United States. So my mother raised 4 of us on her own. I didn't have my father in my life, and so I tend to look to the streets for love. I tend to look, for love in the streets, and it's like by doing that, man, it sent me down the wrong road. It sent me down the wrong arrow. Just the area I grew up in, and it took me. I was exposed to a lot of things at a young age that I shouldn't have been exposed to, and it took my life to a different level in a bad way, just seeing people getting shot at, seeing my cousin getting murdered at a young age. That was tough. I was like 10, and like seeing that, that just took my life to a different perspective, man, and got me caught up in the streets heavy. Whereas though I started selling drugs and committing crimes, and that led me into start sniffing heroin, and I could just go on and on that topic, man.
So how was it like, you just coming up, being exposed to so many different elements of the streets? Because those is actually elements of the street: drug abuse, gang banging, being a follower. Those are just elements. And when you was incarcerated, how did you overcome them elements or them demons that you had inside of you?
So it took me a few times to get it together. I did a DYS bid first, and I did a state bid, and after that I did a federal bid. So that last federal bid, it was like, it's time to get it together now. It's time to start loving myself. It's time to start, hanging around dudes that are doing better than me or heading the same way I'm going. So because, they say, you hang around 8 losers, you'll be the 9th loser. You hang around 8 winners, you'll be the 9th winner. And it's a true statement, So with that, like, I started to work on myself, you know, and I started to find a purpose in life. And, you know, and my reason and my why is my daughter, you know. So it's like I started working on myself. I went and got my GED. I got my, you know, took anger management programs, drug programs, anything I could do to better myself. So when I come back into society, I'll be good. So that's how I was able to overcome, you know, the elements of the streets. You feel me?
Yeah.
I think, first of all, man, I'm super proud of you, Juice, man. This dude, and then I'm super excited about the angle you said. The angle you took was motivational speaking.
Yes.
And the reason I'm excited about it, before we got on the mic, we were talking about ways we can help our community, and his was using his power of articulation, his gift of speech to share. So I want to know a little bit. How did you decide that was going to be your angle, your contribution?
Okay, so when I came home, I didn't have no, you know, I came home 2014. I've been home 9 years now. So, but when I came home, that wasn't my angle of, you know, giving back. That wasn't my way. I was just like, yo, I had to do everything I can to survive. So I had to move out the hood because it didn't work for me the first 2 times. So what I ended up getting my CDL license, and I started driving a cement truck for 7 years.
Wow.
And in the process of that, you know, I met a couple of people. I also do poetry, you know. So I was at an open mic one night in 2014, 2019, and a school teacher was there, and he was like, "Man, I love how you do your poems," and he's like, "I love it. Would you like to come to my school and share your poems?" So I was like, "I bet." That was 2019. So I went up there and I shared a little bit about myself, and I did a couple of poems, and then the next day the teacher reached out to me, and he was like, "Man," he was like, "that was so powerful." He was like, "Them kids never paid so much attention." He was like, "You had their attention, you know, they asked about you." He was like, it was mind blowing. And from there on, I was like, this is my purpose. This is how I'm gonna give back, you know, by sharing my story, inspiring people that, you know, if I can do it, you know, you can, you know, like giving people hope, giving people, you know, letting them know that they mean something in this world. Because a lot of times, man, people they just, you know, they think they don't mean nothing, you know. And by me just sharing my experiences and sharing what I'm doing now gives a lot of people hope, you know. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, and you know, hope, man. You know, one of my mentors told me hope is a commodity. You know, and it's you giving people hope, and you also giving people courage. You know, because you're giving them courage to want to tell their story. Like it takes real courage to tell a story about yourself, because it might be pieces that you might be embarrassed about that you don't want people to know, so you ain't gonna include that.
Absolutely.
You know, but when you tell your story and people understand, because it might be that piece that you didn't add, that you purposely left out, that might could help 100 people.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I commend you on that. You know, you ride past Copeland, you out there on the corner.
Yeah.
For reasons unknown to others. Like, that big dude, you know, all the dudes standing out there.
Absolutely.
But it was like, you ride past Casagate, I'm out there. So it was like we was visible faces, but we visible faces because we was there for a reason. And it was either to make money, try to bag girls, or just, you know, taunting people riding by, and you know, just we wasn't doing that to be harassed by the police. That came with it, within that nature, you know. So it's just doing things different than what we used to do is big, and it's positive.
For
So
sure.
you know, even the same police or others that once harassed us, they now praise. You know?
So how do you guys deal with like the people that stereotype you guys as?
I mean, I look at it as a misunderstanding, because if you knew me as a child or coming of age, you already knew I had some type of intelligence. But an opportunity or a chance never was given for me to showcase that. So I showcased it in a different realm, which was negativity. So, and coming of age, if it's an older dude from around my way that was real notorious. We idolized him for being notorious, and we wanted to be notorious like him, or take it to another level. Or we see one making a lot of money selling drugs. We wanted to be like him because we was fascinated by the jewelry, the cars, the girls that they liked. It's, you know, like Dexter. When I was young, it was like we used to see him like, damn, yo, I want a scooter, yo, I want this, I want jewelry. You know, but we never we never knew as kids how to get it without hustling for someone else. And then once we was inherited the block, then we seen the benefits, but we never was taught that them benefits come with prison or death.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely made it look real good.
Made it look easy.
Yeah, made it look
You too, Chris. You too, Chris.
yeah.
You too, brother. I used to see you.
Yeah.
I was like, man, you rolling nice at a young age, you know?
Yeah.
You know, Chris a little older than me, so it's like, you know, I'm like, man, they rolling through with that nice Beamer and Benz. I'm like, okay, like, but it's like that's all I knew.
Yeah.
You know, at the time, and you know, speaking on the stereotype with the police and all that stuff, but you know, the bad cops is good cops. You know, now I look at it as like now I'll be with state troopers. I'll be with,
I
you know, I'll be with
the other day on. You was doing something.
Yeah, I was just at the U.S. Attorney's office.
Yeah.
You know, I was just at the U.S. Attorney's office talking to 150 district attorneys, you know, like, and they staff.
The voice of the people.
Right, like,
Let's
and just,
go.
so it's like, and it was mind blowing. I thought I was in the White House or something. They got the flag, you know, they got the flag up, and they got the desk with the circle, U.S. Attorney. So I'm like, man, this is serious.
Yeah, different experience.
Right, there was a different experience, but it's like before that, like if I was still on the streets, you know, if I was still on the streets, dudes would see me up in there, they'd be like, oh man, Juice is right. He's a straight right, you know? You know what I'm saying? But it's I'm in a different lane. People see what I'm doing, you know, I'm trying to make a difference, you know. And that thing, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll say you ain't telling on no, because I think that's a part of the problem with the young ones. When they see you brothers now dealing with state officials and politicians, they get it twisted. They be like, oh, he's down with them type of thing. No, somebody gotta go be the voice for our culture and our people. So I'm glad that you pointed that out, so they understand that, okay, if you want change to happen, like, they don't know what we're going through or what impacted us or where we're coming from or our culture or anything. You have to have someone willing to take the risk, a leader, someone that can carry us professionally, articulately, you know what I mean? And really get the job done. So instead of looking at you guys like y'all out here ratting or stuff, you ain't telling on nobody. You're telling it like it is.
We trying to make a difference, you know?
Yeah.
And the big thing about that was, when I met up with them, was about restorative justice programs.
Absolutely.
You know, like, you know, guys that's locked up, you know, coming back into society, that, you know, they need that help before they get out. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I did a program with them with my old probation officer at Wyatt Detention Center. I was an inmate there, 2011, you know? And I went back in, I think it was February, and we did the restorative justice program. It was 2 prosecutors, my old probation officer, me, and about 8 other dudes, you know, and we sat in a room for 9 hours a day for 2 days, and just building, just, you know, opening up and just, you know, sharing, and it was a great experience, you know. Made me look at prosecutors in a different, you know, form, because they be trying to slay us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because they have no contact with us.
Absolutely.
So they don't know.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Man, Juice, that made me just go right to segue to this part. And I'm itching to say that one of the programs that I'm a part of is like, I bring D.A. Hayden to talk to the young folks that I serve. And I'm telling you, it's like, oh man, yo, why you bringing him in? And it's really so and I'm like, yo, my message to him, like, yo, I understand where you're coming from, I do, but I want you to know that it's better that we establish this relationship right now than when we establish it a little differently, because you know, if we know each other, it'll be less ignorance as far as him, like you just said, they ain't gonna slay me if we got a relationship or something going.
Absolutely.
They ain't gonna feel bad about doing anything dirty because we got a relationship.
Mhm.
And I like to hold them to that. And one of the things that the young folks always say is like, yo, after the visit, always after the visit. Man, I'm glad you brought him, man. Like, okay, I'm good.
Because it give them a different understanding.
Right,
You know,
right,
like a different understanding. Even with me, with the police, you know, coming of age, they had, I don't know, they had some type of connotation about me, and I was like, I'm not even a bad person, but they label me something that I wasn't.
Right.
You know, and it's
Sure.
just that we ain't given chances as youth. You know, so we was given a chance, or there was organizations that could help us better ourselves or grow and develop ourselves as adults instead of growing and developing in prison. And that's the main problem. We grow and develop in prison and we get out with PTSD. So now we get out with PTSD and young adults think we crazy, and now we acting crazy, but we really ain't crazy.
Right,
We just got a mental health
Yeah.
situation.
I got a question, right? Since we're talking about the law, what would you guys like to see changed with the law right now? Like anything, like from your experience, from being in jail to right now to things in the past. You guys are like the leaders of our city right now. So if there's somebody out there who's potentially listening, who might care and could do something, what would you like to share with them? Like,
I mean, my main thing is don't be too quick to label someone as a gang member. You know, because you live on Cascade, Copeland, Interville, or East Street. That don't mean you're part of that gang, or if it is a gang. You know, like me growing up, we never looked at ourselves as a gang. It's just a group of people that hung on the street together. It was the police that was like, oh, Cascade gang, or Copeland gang, or Interville gang. No, it's just a group of people. Gangs is Bloods, Crips, GDs, those different types of organizations that go by rules and regulations. We never had no rules and regulations. It was just an open market. Drugs was easy to get, so we sold them. So that's what, you know, listen to a person's story. Because he comes from a impoverished background don't mean that he's negative or part of a gang.
Yeah, I feel as though for them to, just to find out who the person is before they go on and, judge them, like you were saying, like, label us as soon as they see us, like, find out who we are first, before you take it to another level. And a lot of times, us as people, we judge by what we see first, and then later on we find out what's going on with that person, or who that person really is, and it's like, damn, I didn't even look at that person that way. So I feel as though they should look at people in that form of matter, or take that time to do that.
I like the great, well said, both of those, man. I would want them to, be creative with the way they're addressing, like the way they're trying to police our young people right now is the way they try to police us. Didn't work, yo. Didn't work. So I want them to be creative with it. And creativity is one example of that. Opioid epidemic. Back when I grew up, because I grew up on Cascade, man, and dope. It was called dope. It wasn't called opioid epidemic. You understand? So they got creative with how they're gonna address this issue that spilled out of our neighborhoods into other neighborhoods, so that now we will label it. So I want them to be creative with how they deal with the young folks, man. And really, Mike, you're right, man. If there's an opportunity, man, there is no always chasing is money, right? And there's an opportunity to get that money. It's gonna change the whole trajectory of how we're gonna approach how the outcomes are gonna be anyways. So I definitely commend both of those.
Yeah, because if a person's on the streets and they sound like 8 balls and they can't get past the ounce, and an ounce go for 1,000, you make 2,000, and you might sell an ounce for like within 3-4 days, so you only making 1,500 a week. I mean, you can make that out of job.
Absolutely.
And don't worry about going to jail or scared of the cops. Like when we's coming up, when the cops pull up, people just automatically be scared, and I'll be like, yo, what's wrong with you? But that was the fear, because that was the fear of you're doing wrong. So if you got a job and it's paying,
Wow.
or you create a job for yourself as an entrepreneur, and you making $2,000 or let's just say $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year, I mean, you can live off that. You can feed your family, because within 9 months you ain't going to jail. Like, people don't last multiple summers selling drugs. Like, you going to jail, you know.
Everybody I know who sold drugs went to jail.
Yeah,
Unless it was a square.
yeah. I went to jail for something,
Yeah,
like,
so
Or they're not
for
here.
sure.
it's just like
right.
Dexter said, you gotta, it's more about creativity. Like, it's called an opioid epidemic because it's destroying their people.
Yeah.
But when it was called dope and it was destroying the inner city, it really wasn't no help.
Mm.
Even with the crack, it really wasn't no help. Now they trying to, with the crack laws and get people out. But people already did 15, 20
Yeah,
years. They
right.
coming home PTSD.
Right.
They need to give out some
It
money.
was already done.
That's what I say. Money needs to be given out.
Mm.
Right? They need to start paying people. I think that they could do something with like Social Security for PTSD. Something.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a disability.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Something that you're
Right.
dealing with, like that you need medical services and things for. So they really need to reshape that process. That's what I like to see change. But thank you guys for
Absolutely.
Juice, I got a question for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. No,
If you don't
no.
mind. I wanted to know some of the topics that you talk to, when you talk to young people.
Mhm.
What are some of the key things you hit?
So, like I said earlier, one is, letting them believe in themselves, believing in themselves. I also like to, at the beginning of a speaking engagement, I'll play music, right? I play music because these kids, everybody, attention span is short, So you gotta connect. This is how I connect with the crowd by playing the song, right? Everybody know the song, Michael Jackson, Rock With Me, right? And I play it, but I asked them, I say, listen, I'm not here to tell y'all what to do, I'm just here to share my story and hope for y'all to learn from it. And before that, after that, I said, could y'all stand up and clap with me, right? And so I play the song, and I'm singing. I can't sing I can't sing, and they're clapping, and they're dancing, and they're connecting. We're building a bond.
Hey, listen, I can't sing, man. Just work with me. Come on, y'all. What's going on with this? I'm young. Close your eyes. Let that feeling get in. If you know the song, baby, don't try to find it. Yeah.
So now I got them. I got the crowd now, and now I can drop my story on them. And so, my main thing is to, like I said, love yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to fail. They said, this is saying, if you don't fail at something, that means you're not trying.
That's right.
So them are my main topics that I talk about, and plus my story, and I just like to interact with them. See, we gotta interact. See, people, especially these kids, they need to see things.
Mm-hmm.
They need to see what's going on. They don't, you can talk them to death and they be like,
Whatever.
whatever. But I start showing them things like, I was in a magazine, Boston's. They got me in a magazine. It's Boston's top motivational speaker. It's in Boston Magazine. They did a 4-page spread on me.
Wow.
It's in a magazine. So it's like, show them that. Then I show them like, like I did security with Grump, with some of the Bruins and, like things like that. Just show them. Like, this is what's happening in my life. I went from, being a homeless, I'm a recovering heroin addict. Like, I shot dope. I panhandle. Like, and showing them that and showing them where I'm at now, it gives them a whole different perspective of life.
It gives them, like you said earlier, hope, because they might have a parent or a sibling or someone that they know going through that.
Mhm.
And by you sharing your story, of course, if my mom's was like that, or my father, of course I would go like, yo, I need you to meet someone. I need you to listen to this story or follow this person, because it's a form of motivation.
Yeah.
you reach a lot of people like that, and you reach new heights like that, because you being honest with yourself.
Mhm.
You ain't ashamed of your past. A lot of people is ashamed of certain things that happened in their past.
And that's a part of me, and that's a part of, by me sharing my story, that's a part of me healing from my PTSD.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but I remember one time I spoke to like 600 kids, right? And after I spoke, this young girl came up to me, little young girl, man. She had to be a freshman, and she was like, "Thank you so much for sharing your story. I was gonna kill myself yesterday." Right? And then she went on to say, if I would have did that, I wouldn't have been here today to hear your story.
Wow.
So thank you. You made me look at life in a different perspective. Like, that's what I do it for. You know, that's what I do it for.
Absolutely.
To hear things like that, to let people look at things in a different perspective and go in different direction, man. So, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can people reach you? Like, I know a lot of people gonna be looking for your services and wanna hear more about you, your story, and,
Mhm.
you know, just the things you've been through, cause you definitely have an intriguing history,
Yeah.
intriguing story. So how can people reach you?
So I'm on Facebook, Julian Miller, Julian Miller, and I'm on Instagram, Julian Motive 02, all one word, JulianMotive 02. Yeah.
What about any websites or LinkedIn?
So my website, I don't know my website by heart, right? But when you go on my Facebook, right? You know, I gotta work on that. So, but when you go on my Instagram and on my bio, my website's right there. You can just click on it. And if you message me and shoot me an inbox, I'll respond to everything. Like whoever inbox me, I'll respond to everything. And it's me. It's nobody else. It's me.
It's real, Julian.
Yeah, it's real. It's me.
Man, that was so dope, man. I appreciate you coming by, man.
Thank you
and
for
sharing,
having me.
sharing what you have, man. I like, you know, I know Julian all my life,
Yeah,
right?
I used to
and it's
see
like,
you.
I know, and it's always been good because he's
Always.
one of those dudes, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, yo, you just gave me so much more of you, and I really appreciate
Oh
it.
man.
Constant
thanks, man.
elevation.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got more.
Constant elevation.
That's you.
That is
Constant
me.
elevation. It's J Miller 91477.wixsite.com.
Oh, there you go. There she go.
Elevation, y'all.
There
We
she
gotta get
go.
that right.
Thank you so
know
much.
it.
I appreciate that, brother, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
and
that.
you keep up the
Absolutely.
good work,
Yeah.
because, you know, sky's the limit, and you're gonna definitely escalate
Mm.
to higher levels. You know, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, thank
You know,
you,
this
man.
just the beginning, you know?
Mm.
And it starts locally, but then it become global.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. For sure. Thank you for having me, you guys, man. I love this. This is what I love to do.